Bitcoin, crypto, chopping back and forth, pump up, then dump back down already today. Now we're seeing a little bit of rise in price action on the Bitcoin prices and altcoins. Are they getting ready to run, or are they just still stuck in permanent chop mode? Well, we're going to be diving into that and so much more today. Everybody get this, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, retweet this out, share this out to your friends. We are live on YouTube. We are live on X. We are live on Rumble. So everybody get activated. We are getting this going as we speak. I'm just getting this retweeted right now, and we're going to be going live here in a matter of moments. Drop your comment in the live chat if you're watching on Rumble or on YouTube, or also on X. You can live chat as well. I will see it. Make sure you're getting active. We want to make sure everybody is paying attention. I want to know, do you think price is going to end higher today? Are we going to get a higher daily close today than yesterday? Let me know. Just type bull or bear. But other than that, let's get into it. Let's talk about what we need to talk about, because we got a lot of things. We got a lot of charts we're going to run through today. So let's get it. Bitcoin price action showing signs that it wants to break down, while also showing just strength holding up. Are these just traps? Looking at the price action as we dive right into it, as we've been talking about this potential head and shoulders here, and the target down right to this beautiful trend line that is both a previous horizontal resistance, support, resistance, resistance, support, resistance, support. Is this going to be support again, or are we not even going to tap it? Because we also have this chop zone that we've had marked out here that comes all the way across back here into November, that it intersects with this rising level of support and resistance. Are we going to come down and tap this, or is price going to hold this? And this is just a bit of a trap scenario, trying to get people emotional to have this wash out to the downside. We're going to dive right through a bunch of very quick stories, but I want to look at primarily charts today. So everybody, as you roll in, make sure you are hitting that like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell. You can see with the price action right here, it is chopping everybody back and forth, those that are just locked into these 15-minute charts. But shout out to our channel partners, BitcoinIRA.com, LBank, and of course, Arculus. Get Arculus.com for the best crypto cold storage solution out there. Use code BitLab20 for 20% off your crypto cold storage solution. Protect your crypto, protect your future. And of course, take advantage of those tax savings opportunities where you can trade over 75 different cryptos, especially if you're looking to trade altcoins and rotate them into Bitcoin. Why take a 20 to 30% haircut on your profits by having to pay capital gains taxes, where you can trade all those and rotate them into Bitcoin, or just contribute directly into Bitcoin, or roll your 401k over into a crypto-focused IRA that has all the same benefits as a Roth IRA on traditional standing, and is insured, all that and more. You can find more information at BitcoinIRA.com. Let them know Kelly over at BitLab Academy sent you. Now, diving into some of these things that we're looking at, we're seeing stacking. We're seeing stacking through look at this. After briefly leaning towards distribution, aka selling, or the setup for selling, the largest Bitcoin holders are now back in accumulation, aka adding Bitcoin to their wallets. All wallet cohorts now show varying degrees of buying, with the strongest activity in the 10 to 100 Bitcoin and under 1 Bitcoin groups, both reaching a score of 1, the highest possible score. This is this bright blue area that we're seeing here on the chart. All of this means very heavy accumulation, as you can see in this this key right here that shows you a lot of buying, no buying, selling. So this is all blue, all the way coming up, all the way even to the 1,000 to 10,000 and 10,000 and above, getting into this light area, showing that we're seeing accumulation at these prices, which is potentially a very good thing. But then we saw a couple news stories today just shake the markets back and forth, which we're going to get into a second. But there's other data that suggests it's not just, hey, I should buy because I'm bullish and I want price to go up. Well, let's look at the data. New Bitcoin super signal has appeared, which also happens when volume reaches extremely low levels, aka nobody's paying attention. And what do we see here? This is the volume showing extremely low signals right here, June 2025. We are in June 2025, and look at this low. This is the lowest it's been This is the lowest it's been, the super signal, all the way since we saw in September 2023, which is right here before this mega move. But this is even a lower low, all the way back to what we see back here in the bear market of 2018. We are seeing signs, signals, accumulation, and just a never ending flood of positive news in terms of corporations, institutions, governments, mega money players like Grant Cardone and other large ultra high net worth players getting involved with stacking Bitcoin, as well as you see with this chart right here, small players as well accumulating across the board. We're seeing a race to stack, and we're also seeing signals outside of just our hope for Bitcoin going higher. We're seeing signals that show the high likelihood of price go up, and it's based on data, not based on bias. But then we look at this. Is quantitative easing starting? Well, they're not actively, quote unquote, printing money. So some people say they're not quantitative easing. This isn't happening. Well, we're seeing the stealth nature, the stealth means to do so. $10 billion so far, basically stealth QE. The Treasury's just bought back $10 billion of its own debt, the largest buyback ever. And we can see further data on this from Quentin Francois. I don't know where it is. Did I not save it here? Here we go. The recent $10 billion Treasury bond buyback, the largest in U.S. history, can be interpreted as a form of indirect money printing. Well, not traditional QE, quantitative easing, where the Federal Reserve actually purchases government securities to inject liquidity. This move involves the Treasury Department buying back its own debt from the market. Such actions can increase demand for Treasury securities, potentially lowering yields and influencing liquidity conditions. This is just speaking of this right here. Whether it's active money printing, which we're seeing all over the world, which is why this global liquidity has been ticking to the upside, we are now also seeing this data coming from the basically Treasury bond buybacks. Major news, as you can see here. 10 billion, the largest in history. It has started the race to do everything possible, to utilize every mechanism possible to get money back in the system, to stem the bleeding, especially when we see the jobs reports not doing anything that we want to see for a positive indication of the economy. We have the FOMC meeting also in about a week and a half from now. Are they going to cut rates? Or are they going to talk about other mechanisms to get money and liquidity back in the system? Or is it all going to be behind closed doors for those that aren't paying attention? All of you are tuned in here. We're watching all of this data real time. We're bringing it to you real time so that you can make sure that you're making the smartest decisions possible based on the data, not on the narrative that's being constructed in mainstream news media and even on crypto Twitter. The hope, the fear. No, we're looking at data so that we can dominate this, because we're seeing other positive news stories like this. This is when we saw that big sort of news swing, the price swing from the news that came out. China's President Xi and Trump agreed to start a new round of talks. This came out. We saw pretty big swings in price, and we even see furthering of that from Donald Trump here, basically discussing that, saying, hey, we had a pretty good talk. It was about an hour and a half. They've kind of come to some agreement regarding the rare earth minerals, which is one of those things that was holding it up. But they are planning to meet. They invited both couples, both president and their wives, to to China and to the White House here in the U.S., really talking about what their plans are going to be to come together on a real trade deal, which is giving some more hope to the markets. And then we talked about this, and then this right here. Bitcoin versus gold, which is better? I do not see a majority, or in any substantial means, Bitcoin companies stacking gold. We do see things like USDC Circle and USDT Tether having gold as part of the backing of their treasuries for those stablecoins, but we're not seeing it with Bitcoin miners or other institutions out there scaling into their gold purchases. We're seeing now gold miners adopting Bitcoin treasury strategy, aka stacking Bitcoin for the future. Even gold industry is investing in securing their future with Bitcoin. The seismic shift that we are in the middle of, already crossing the event horizon For those of you that are stacking and not getting bothered by dips, in fact, you're looking at dips on price action saying, are you telling me that I have the opportunity of lower prices? There's no fear in the Bitcoin market anymore. The fear is, are you stacked? Do you have enough? Because this is exactly where we want to be with the trade deals coming to fruition, starting to actively move forward with gold miners stacking Bitcoin for their treasury. And then this right here, this is a story of the US dollar being lit on fire. The most affordable thing you can do, the smartest thing that you can do right now is to buy Bitcoin, to hold Bitcoin. The most expensive mistake you can do right now is to not be buying Bitcoin, or at least minimum, if you've already bought, to just hold. Money prints to infinity. And we've seen further stories around that with them talking about legislating removing the debt ceiling, the debt cap. AKA, let's make it easier so we don't have all these economic, the government shutdowns every time we have to raise the debt limit, because they always have to raise the debt limit. And now this just essentially money printing to infinity. Whether or not you see it happening or not, the data shows it's up only on US debt. It's up only on global liquidity. And therefore, the smartest thing you can do is buy stores of value, even gold. I'm not hating on gold. I think gold's great. I think Bitcoin is better. But if you are not investing, you are only actually investing in losing money. If you are not investing, whether it's in Bitcoin, the SPX, S&P 500, whether it's in Vanguard, whether it's in BlackRock, whether it's in Fidelity, whether it's in an IRA, if you are not investing, especially having Bitcoin as an anchor in your portfolio, you are literally actually just investing and having loss. So we need to get our mind around this and take advantage of the fact that this is happening, this money burning, the value of money decreasing exponentially over time, whereas the value of Bitcoin and stores of value, but the value of Bitcoin is going to move up exponentially over time because of this inverse correlation. Now, continuing on, I want to get directly into the charts. This is still what we're looking at. We are looking at a massive bull trend with resets before liftoff, reset before liftoff. We're in the middle of the decision. Are we ready for the liftoff, or do we need a little bit more of a reset? My bias does not bother me anymore about knowing this is going higher. And if it doesn't go higher on the schedule that I'm expecting, am I upset? No, I just realized, okay, Kelly, you have more time to stack, because there's only one way trip on this, and that's up and to the right. So we're looking at these targets up here sometime in the next 12 months, 18 months, 164,000, 204,000, 242,000. Will we hit all three of these? If we don't hit these in the next 12 to 18 months, they will be hit. The question is when. I'm patient, I'm ready, and I'm stacking. Now, continuing on, we got other incredible buy signals. A buy signal from the hash ribbons. When we look at this, these are, we recently got a new buy signal from the hash ribbons indicator. This metric helps us assess the level of stress in the Bitcoin mining ecosystem. And what we look at when we see this here, let's go ahead and zoom out on this, and we can look at the hash ribbons when they flip buy signals. And I have it right here. Right here. So I put markers each time we've seen a buy signal flash on the hash ribbons. This is basically when miners are profitable or not. When miners are shutting down, so the hash ribbon collapses on itself into a moving average. And when that moving average, a faster moving average, flips back above that, aka miners turning back on, you're getting these buy signals. This is where we were on this buy signal back in 2023, $17,000. This pump from here all the way up here into $30,000, over $30,000. Yeah, we had some work to do. It chopped back down. Then we had the next buy signal here, about $26,000. Price pushed up into the ETF pump all the way up here to 48,000. We had the sell the news event, boom, that it turned out to be a beautiful buy signal. All the way up here, look at this, from 26 all the way up here to 74,000. A lot of chopping in here. We had in the pressure of the markets not just running away, some miners turned off. We got this. You see how this turns red down here on the hash ribbon? When this flips back positive, boom, it's not just right when it flips positive. It's when it flips positive and you got a little bit of momentum behind it on hash getting stronger. What do we see? We got the buy signal. This is about 63,000. Now, This was a buy signal, but oh my God, it dumped. Great. If you bought here, better opportunity here. So now you get to lower your average entry. But this proved to just be a little bit of a choppy zone here. And then we got a very brief flash to the downside, back into buy, boom, 65,000. And this proved to go 65,000 all the way up here to 108, 109,000. Then we got the choppiness. We had the reset back to test previous range high. And then we got the buy signal again at 87,000. Well, 87,000, where'd it go? Went up to about $112,000. Now we're getting a little bit of a choppiness right in here. And we got the buy signal yet again. We can actually move this over. This would be, let's see, right there. We got the buy signal again. This does not mean price only up from here. This means the strength of miners on network, which have a lot of deep insight as to what's going on within the network. And they also have different mechanisms to drive profits now, from fees, things like ordinals and runes, and the amount of transactions, all these things, plus miners themselves becoming Bitcoin treasury companies to where they're less incentivized to sell Bitcoin, because a lot of these major mining conglomerates are raising capital now, in addition to the profits they're making from mining rewards, to basically buy Bitcoin and hold Bitcoin. So what we're seeing here with the buy signal, beyond all these other signals that we're seeing like this, the volume signal, we're seeing buy signals in many different contexts here. So regardless of price action, having a little bit of a pullback today, but then pumping up, and then it's all chop. It's all chop. The beginning of this week, I released a live stream here that was talking about the pump chop setup that we're seeing in the markets. We saw the pump, we broke down, flushed people out to the downside, came back up, and we're seeing it also on the liquidity on the chart. If we zoom out on this, for instance, on the weekly, you can see that this has just been scooping up liquidity in both directions. Now we have a bit of a large liquidity pool below us down here, all the way into the 102, mid 102s, all the way up here into the mid upper 107s, 107.7. But we're just kind of sitting in this zone right now. And it feels a little bit more like the market is taking advantage of any news story to get that sort of momentum to push it up, to trap people. And then it evaporates, boom, comes right back down. People get scared, then they start selling, and it traps people to the downside, and it comes back up. But there's no major moves happening. The market feels like it's a bit trapped between market makers, waiting for the true unwinding of all this trade and tariff pressure so this can move to the upside. In fact, we have the FOMC meeting in about a week and a half, and it's still telegraphed that there's unlikely to be a rate cut. What would happen if there was a rate cut? That would be a pretty massive jolt to markets. But if there's not a rate cut, it's already sort of understood that it's unlikely to happen. However, we just got the jobs report yesterday, and that was, I think, that came in at 37,000, and the estimate was over 110,000. So the jobs report's coming in very, very under what the expectation is. Shout out to everybody here, though. We got Pre-Rich, Ugin Sky, Shake and Bake, Green Day Profits. It's great meeting you there in Vegas. Nice to see you, my friend. Alexandra G, Rachel Tercio, say it, bro. Hey, you say, Raphael, not Rachel. Raphael Tercios. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but let me know if I'm saying that correctly. Objectively, reality, objectively. I love the tongue twister you give us every day. Black Ice 710, that guy, what's up? Big love to each and every one of you. I hope you're all doing well. Shout out to anybody that's tuned in. If this is your first time, my name is Kellam. Welcome to BitLab Academy. I just break down data. We look at charts. We do setups. I teach you how to look at chart patterns, do targets, understand indicators, how to pull these ingredients together so that you can navigate this market rather than the emotions of this market navigating you away from profits. Do we nail every call? No, absolutely nobody does. But we have been nailing the calls on this channel for the last 2 years in ways that, I mean, sometimes I'm like, what? I'm very grateful to be here with you all and helping you all navigate what's going on in this market, because we are seeing buy signals in all this frustration. So we talked about this, and we also see this right here. Current unrealized profit levels for Bitcoin holders remain relatively muted. So people holding unrealized profits, just sitting there not doing anything. Unrealized mean you're holding it and it's in profit and you haven't sold yet. Unrealized losses is holding Bitcoin and it's in a loss and you haven't sold yet. So Current unrealized profit levels, Bitcoin holders remain relatively muted, which is inconsistent with what we've seen the last two cycle tops. This suggests more upside ahead for Bitcoin. So that is beautiful. We're seeing data, not emotion. And then we got to talk about the other half of the market, all the altcoins out there. Ethereum, which some people kept harping on being dead, Ethereum continues to dominate the real world asset tokenization sector. What RWA projects are you targeting? I'm curious. Actually, this is from Crypto Rand. I'm on a lot of spaces with him over on Mario and the Falls channel. Great content. They're always putting out. Make sure you're following Crypto_Rand. Great content. But I'm following. I've talked to you all about it. I'm following Ondo. I'm following. I'm actually stacking into Ondo and Link. Aerodrome isn't a real world asset deal, but it's a very major in the base ecosystem. But Avalanche, I think, is going to do phenomenal. Injective, already tokenizing some major stocks on their platform. There's a number of Cardano, I think, will do well as well. Near Protocol, which is kind of a combination between smart contracts, AI. So remember, anything that has a smart contract L1 platform, any of those top ecosystems, from Avalanche to Cardano to all of them that have smart contracts built in, any of those realistically can be an RWA platform. Figure out which ones are going to have major contracts and major integrations. Likely, Chainlink, I think, is going to be one of those, providing data, but also providing tokenization. And then Ondo, of course. And there's a number of others, Centrifuge and Ethereum being the number one. I mean, look at this. Massively dominating. And then we see right here, liquidity is expanding. For those waiting on altcoins expand after liquidity, aka any asset in reality in the market. When you're looking at Bitcoin or altcoins or even the S&P 500, when you see a massive increase in liquidity, in this case, global liquidity, this always correlates to much higher price activity in the assets that you're investing in. If you want to not drown in any money sense, whether it be your savings, whether it be how much money you're able to spend to buy things, or just not get left behind by the world running away from you, which is what money printing is, you need to invest. And when you see global liquidity rising like this, and you come over here to this chart from TechDev, and you see liquidity is expanding, altcoins expand after liquidity, this is where we're at right here. Look at this. Liquidity expansion begins. Altcoins have not yet made their move. Liquidity expansion begins. This is where, look at this. This had some work to do, and then massive upside move. And in addition to liquidity expanding, we also see the tightest constriction, the tightest contraction of volatility, aka lack of volatility, that we've seen in the history of altcoins right now. Looking at how tight these Bollinger Bands are, at the same time, liquidity is just putting this massive magnet above all those coins that you're holding, saying upside soon. Can you hold on? That's the question that we're looking at right now. So when we're looking at the data and we go through the different charts and we see that there is indication, as much as there's a massive buy signal to pump overwhelmingly high in the very near term, coming back down here to the 2 hour, the 1 hour, so on and so forth, we see an invert. We see a head and shoulders suggesting a move to the downside. We see it also on this chart. The target is perfectly in line with this multi-month, all the way back here until February, over a year. February 2024, resistance support, so on and so forth. And then this small time frame right here, head and shoulders pattern, target comes right down to this trend line that also intersects this horizontal trend line. If this happens, expect a pretty big dump in alts, but also look for great opportunities. We also see on Ethereum, pushed right up into the green box we talked about. We've been talking about this for some time, holding on to the narrative of this trend line that goes back multi-year all the way back to 2022. We see this. Now, with that being said, it doesn't mean it has to go up immediately right now, but it is in the zone. Nice bull flaggish mentality. If this is lost, if Bitcoin drops and Ethereum drops, I'm watching for 2380. And if this loses, coming back to the golden pocket down here about 2100. If this is able to maintain and Bitcoin drops, then that's going to be a whole nother signal for the altcoins really getting ready to run. If this is able to hold here and break out of this zone, 2600, most specifically up here in the 2850, then we're looking for that next run up to the mid 32s and then onward and upward. We are in ultimate patience mode right now. We're in ultimate dip buying opportunity mode right now. So let me know in the comments right now what coins you're waiting on and what levels. What coins are you looking to stack next if there's a drop? And if not, what's your plan? But that's all I got for today, everybody. A little bit of a shorter one. I got to run over to do a stream over with the Mario team. Big love to each and every one of you. I appreciate you so much. I love you. Drop your comments down below. Everybody retweet this over on Twitter over at Kelly Kellam on my page right here at Kelly Kellam. Make sure you are following. Hit the retweet on this. If we get 40 retweets, I will do a $100 giveaway value tomorrow. It'll either be USDT or it will be a $100 value a gift. So hit that retweet, hit that like button, show some love, comment down below what you're thinking this market. Is it going to break? Is it going to close as a positive candle today with a higher daily close than yesterday? Or is this the start of the spill lower? The mega pump setup is here for the midterm macro. Do not get disenchanted by a little bit of drops in the near-term price action. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Sending you over to the blockchain basement now. That's all I got. Adios, muchachos. See you in the next one.